Good evening and welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals hearing. Let me introduce some members of town government that assist this board. To my left is Martin Simon, Assistant Town Attorney. To his left is Blaise Donadio, Planner in the Planning Department. You're all here tonight seeking relief from the Smithtown zoning ordinances, and it's our job to try to help you achieve the relief you are requesting whenever possible. It's up to you to provide us with precise, accurate information so we as a board can make a decision based on the facts that you present here tonight. We as a board must consider the 5 following conditions, and they're listed here for you. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. Number 2, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other means. Number 3, whether the variance is substantial. Number 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Procedures for tonight's meeting. Cases will be called in the order they are advertised. When you are called, please present your certificates of postings and mailings to Mr. Donadio. Then you'll be asked to go to the podium where you'll state your name and address for the record and proceed to tell us why you need your variance. At the end of your presentation, if anyone in the audience would like to speak on your case, they will be given 1 opportunity to do so. Then you can come back to the podium to answer any of their concerns. Once the public hearing is closed, no further information will be accepted concerning the case. There are 3 ways to find out about your case. You can stay after the hearing, but there's no guarantee that your case will be acted on tonight. You can call the planning office tomorrow morning, or you can wait and be notified by mail. We do have some adjournments. The first adjourned case is case 1-17981, David Amandy. That has been adjourned to September 11th. The next case is case 17889, George Deben. That has been adjourned to 8/14, August 14th. And case number 1-17872, Cumberland Farms. That has been withdrawn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first case on the agenda is number 17989, David Sinclair, 24 Harvest Lane, Comac. The location of the property, the south side of Harvest Lane, 341 feet east of Rye Place. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 3 feet for an existing 64 square foot shed.
Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hi.
Could you state your name and address for the
Sure,
record,
David
please?
Sinclair, 24 Harvest Lane, Comac, New York. And I'm seeking a variance for the shed, obviously. We're going to be selling, and I need to make sure I'm not going to have any issues with it. That's as simple as it is. We've been in this house in Comac for 51 years, and that shed is probably 33, 35 years of age. I remember when I built it, I came out of construction. I did build it myself. It's a pretty much a designer shed. Whether or not you've seen the pictures or not, I'm not sure. But it's not your normal type of a shed. It's attractive, I would say. It is not visible from the street for all practical purposes. It's pretty well set back. When I did build it 35 years ago, I had checked with my neighbors to make sure that they had no objections to what I was doing at that particular time. It is in line with the rear of the house. I recognize the fact, or I've learned about the fact, of course, now that there's a window where you're supposed to be. It's a pie-shaped piece of property with a swimming pool, and to relocate it now after being 35 years in that house, well, no, I'm 51 years in the house, I just don't know where the hell I'd put it. It's a high ranch. needless to say, like everybody, lawn equipment, pool equipment, you name it. That's pretty much where it's at.
Right. And it's only 3 foot in one corner.
In one corner, because it's a pie shape,
Right.
and it goes back on an angle. You know, I tried to build it parallel to the house, of course, but because of the property, it's on an angle, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
No question.
Thank you. Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Do you have a motion to close the application?
So moved. Second?
Thank you.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is number 17990, Michael Guidasipetro, 12 Yardley Lane, Nesconset. The location of the property, the south side of Yardley Lane, 80 feet west of Brookstand Road. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 feet to 35 feet for an existing 60-square-foot portico. And I hope I got your name right. Okay, thank you. Do you happen to have the affidavits? There you go. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jeanette?
No, it's okay. Whatever you want to submit to the board, you can do.
Here's a picture of it.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Could you state your name, spell your last name, and give me your address for the record, please?
Certainly. My name is Tina Giudice-Pietro. That's G-U-I,
You can pull it. You can pull it. There you go.
G-U-I-D-I-C-I-P-I-E-T-R-O. I reside at 12 Yardley Lane, Nesconset, 11767.
Thank you.
My purpose is to get a variance for my existing portico, which is approximately 12 foot by 5 foot. 5 foot out, 12 foot wide. It's on the front of the house. What else am I supposed to say?
That's it? Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No question.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close this application, please?
So moved. Second?
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next case on the agenda is number 17991, Richard Chowinski, 34 Ritchie Court North in St. James. The location of the property is the west side of Ritchie Court, 348 feet south of Carroll Lane. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the front yard from 50 feet to 37 feet for a proposed 22-square-foot first-floor addition and 112-square-foot portico. Okey-doke. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. Richard Chowinski, 34 Ritchie Court North, St. James.
Okay.
I'm the owner of property at 34 Ritchie Court North. We're planning a second-story craftsman-style extension on my existing three-bedroom ranch. When I was working with the architect, we decided we wanted to put a portico on the front of the house. When we designed the portico with the architect, because of the size of the extension and the building code only allowing a 6 by 6 foot portico, kind of looked out of proportion with the rest of the house. In addition, the foyer where we're creating the staircase to go up to the second floor was kind of cramped, and based on the configuration of the stairs, it only allowed us to have a pretty small minimum size landing on the second floor, which is like 3.5 feet wide. We want something a little bit larger. So requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback from 50 feet to 37 feet for extension of the foyer. That's 22 square feet and 112 square foot portico. So I think if you look in the neighborhood, numerous houses around my neighborhood have very similar style porticos. So I think it's what we're designing is in character with the neighborhood.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone on the board have any questions on this application? No, thank you. Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
The next case on the agenda is number 17992, Brian Cameron, 79 Eagle Lane, Hauppauge. The location of the property, the south side of Eagle Lane, 1,054 feet west of Old Willets Path. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to decrease the minimum setback of a retaining wall from the south property line from 4 feet to 0. Decrease the minimum setback of a retaining wall from the west property line from 4 feet to 0, and decrease the minimum setback of a retaining wall to a 6-foot fence from 6 feet to 0. Decrease the minimum setback of a retaining wall to a 4-foot fence from 4 feet to 0, to allow the height of a 6-foot fence atop a retaining wall to be from 6 feet to 10.4 feet for, I believe that's 2 walls. Increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the rear yard from 25 to 37.5%, to allow 4-foot-high estate fencing on top of a retaining wall for walls A, B, C, and D, and part of H. Increase maximum height of a wall and fence to 8.2 feet. Reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 6 feet, and total side yards from 28 feet to 19 feet for an existing pergola.
Good
Good
evening,
evening.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I've submitted the affidavit of posting and mailing to Mr. Donadio. I'm sure by now the board has reviewed the pictures submitted along with the survey, but if you just take a brief look at them, you'll see that Mr. Cameron has done a tremendous amount of work and will be doing the completion of this work, provided this board is good enough to grant the variances. It looks like it's a very busy backyard, but in reality, the only way you can improve this type of a backyard, which slopes severely down one side, would be to build retaining walls and patios, and the swimming pool had to be at one level. There's retaining walls that create another level, and of course, since some of those retaining walls are higher than what's allowable, we have to come to this board and ask you for certain variances. Again, the only way that we could have done this type of development, because of the severe sloping of the rear yard, is to create and build retaining walls. As a matter of fact, the swimming pool was redone, and after it was redone, my client had to check with LIPER. I was going to say Loco, but that would show how old I am. And he found out, and rightly so, that his pool was too close to the high-tension wires in the rear. So he took it upon himself with a lot of money, and he paid LIPER to move those wires so they're out of danger of being too close to the swimming pool, so that when you're vacuuming the pool or brushing down the pool, the handle of the vacuum will not hit the high-tension wire behind you, and that would certainly be a tragedy. So he fixed all of that. The property is now safe with respect to those issues, which were also brought up by the building department. And we thank the building department for noticing that and realizing that in order for us to maintain the pool. Since this backs up to the industrial park, we don't feel it would have an adverse change or undesirable change in the character of the area. This backyard can only be seen by the Cameron family. Even the backyards on either side really have no visibility as to what's going on inside that backyard. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant could be achieved by some other method. Not if you want to enjoy the quality of life that my client and his family would like. And again, since it's where it is and against the industrial park, there really isn't any issues with neighbors to the rear. There's just a factory probably 75 or 100 feet, maybe 150 feet away from our boundary line. Whether the variance is substantial, well, when you look at them individually and you think about how this was developed, you really could only develop it this way with the use of multiple retaining walls. Otherwise, you'd have to leave the property in a state of steep slopes with very little use of your backyard. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect, an impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. None of these improvements will have any environmental effect on the environment. As a matter of fact, it would retain the slopes of the property, protect the adjoining neighbors from any kind of washout from our property to the adjoining property. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, most of the stuff, admittedly, we did without the benefit of a permit. The town has come and inspected and saw the improvements, and we think it's an improvement with respect to not only the use by the Camerons, but to the value of the area. So we ask the board for its favorable consideration. I have Mr. Cameron here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. It appears that he has a very good buffer on either side for the neighbors
Yes.
from the photographs. Does anyone on the board have any questions on the application?
No.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second?
Moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is number 17993, Verminand and Susan Gobernhan, 21 Sarah Drive, Hauppauge. The location of the property, the southeast corner of Libby Road and Sarah Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 feet to 30 feet for a proposed 377 square foot first floor addition. Reduce the setback from the edge of road pavement on Libby Road from 20 feet to 10 feet for an existing 6-foot fence.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Varman Gobadan. I live at 21 Sarah Drive, Hauppauge, New York, 11788. I'm here tonight seeking a variance to extend my living room, dining room. Right now it's very cramped, so I'm trying to extend it from 10 feet to 20 feet. That's why I'm here.
And also, you're asking for a variance for the fence.
Right. Yes.
That's on the property line.
Yes. Reduce the setback from 20 feet to 10 feet.
Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions on the application?
No question.
Planning?
Just one comment, Mr. Chairman. The only concern planning would have is that there, excuse me, is the potential for limited site access when somebody does stop at the corner when they're operating their motor vehicle. They might not be able to see clearly in the direction where the fence is.
Is part of this fence on a retaining wall?
Yes. So, yep. Where people will come to stop, the fence is, I think, about 25 feet, might be more than that, back from the corner. So there's clear visibility either direction to see.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second?
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is number 17994, Michael Yanalunas, 10 White Oak Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property, the west side of White Oak Drive, 454 feet south of Lone Oak Path. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum front yard from 50 feet to 49 feet for a proposed 150 square foot porch and 14 square foot first floor addition. Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello, how you doing?
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yep, my name is Michael Yanalunas. I live at 10 White Oak Drive, Smithtown, New York, 11787. I'm requesting a setback. Our minimum right now is 50 feet. I'm just looking to get it reduced 1 foot to 49 feet. Currently, when you look at the front of our house, on the right side, we have a porch that leads to our front door, which is actually on the side of the house. We want to move the front door to the front of the house, use that existing stoop, enclose that on the inside of the house, making a 14 square foot addition to our living room. We'll build some built-ins in there. And then where we have the new front door, we're gonna need a porch because we have to go up a couple steps to reach it. So we need about 8 inches in order to make that happen.
Okay, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions on the application? No question. Planning?
Just one comment, Mr. Chairman. In doing the inspection, we did notice that the fence and the retaining wall that it's sitting on top of is actually right on top of the sidewalk. So there's really not a lot of room maneuverability-wise. You know, if you were thinking of handicap accessibility, there might not be enough space on the one side. Additionally, the fence on top of the retaining wall could pose a problem with possibly needing another variance because of the height. That's about it.
I don't think
Thank
that's
you.
for me. Well, this isn't about a fence. I think you got the wrong one.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the one above you. Sorry. My apologies. No, there's nothing. It's a 1-foot setback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
1 foot.
that was the prior case I was talking
I
about.
understand.
Preoccupied, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is there anyone in the audience, excuse me, like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's what I'm saying now. So, good. All right, ready? The next case on the agenda, number 17995, Daniel Esposito, 60 Winnecomack Circle, Comac. The location of the property, the west side of Winnecomack Circle, 1,174 feet west of Old Comac Road. The property is zoned R21. Thank you. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard from 45 feet to 40 feet for a proposed 360-square-foot first-floor addition.
Good evening.
Good evening. Daniel Esposito, 60 Winnecomack Circle, Kings Park, New York. And basically, we're looking to increase our living space to go off the back of the house, 360 square feet, or 19 wide by 20 out, straight out the back of the slider off the kitchen and the great window off the great room. And that's why I'm here.
All right, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on the application?
No question.
Planning?
No comments, thank you.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
The next case on the agenda, number 17996, Thomas Siddick, 38 Sterling Lane, Smithtown. The location of the property is the southwest corner of Cross Street and Sterling Lane. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum required setback from the edge of road pavement from 26 feet to 9 feet. I'm assuming that's for a 6-foot fence.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, Chairman, and Board. Thomas Siddick, 38 Sterling Lane, Smithtown, New York, 11787. Here requesting, hopefully you grant a variance from a setback 26 feet to, it's actually 9 foot 10 inches for a pre-existing 6-foot fence. When I purchased the house 6 years ago, the fence existed. There was no issues when I purchased the house with the title company. It was a wood stockade. Changed it to PVC, but it came up when I got a pool. So I'm looking to close my pool permit for the CO. So it's technically the backyard's really not on the corner. There's another house behind me on the corner of 111 and Sterling and Cross Street. It's a busy road. If I go down to try a different way to a 4-foot fence, you know, I've already had cars and people try to jump it or went through it before. So rather not go down to a 4-foot fence to have kids be able to hop the fence to get into the pool that I have. And it's a safety concern if I move it 16 more feet inward towards the house. It'll be closer to the pool in case anybody drives through that fence on a busy corner, be into the pool at that point. So that's why I'm here for the variance. It's 26 to 9-foot setback on the fence.
All right, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions?
I do. How many, there's a tree near that fence? isn't
Correct.
there? How many feet is there between that fence and that tree?
Probably, I would say about 2 feet. Kept that tree, the only tree I kept in the backyard, because I have a swing set there, because that one car did drive through there. It protects my kids if they're on the swing set from a car coming to that fence. I already had a drunk driver drive to the fence there prior. I have a case number from the police department, so it's really a safety factor. It's about 2 feet from that tree.
So really, the choice is to move the fence a foot
Or
or
4 foot.
or 5 feet or something like that, or 6 feet, something like that. Either the fence moves a little bit, or the fence moves a whole lot.
A whole lot.
Okay. Or the tree goes down.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
If you're coming down Sterling and you stop on the corner, does that fence impede the vision?
No, that fence lines, are stop signs about 150, 160 feet away. It's not even close because the fence is lined up to the rear of the house. So there's plenty of visibility at that stop sign.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? No. Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
The next case on the agenda is number 17997, Competition Subaru, 601 Middle Country Road, St. James. The location of the property, the northwest corner of Middle Country Road and Jefferson Avenue. The property is zoned WSI. The applicant is requesting a variance to increase the number of wall signs from a maximum of 1 to 3.
Good evening. Kathleen Mahoney, 7 Bayview.
One second, please.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Do you have the affidavit of mailings?
You have it.
I have the affidavit of posting.
Okay.
There's an affidavit for all of the letters that were sent out in addition to
Yes.
the certified receipts?
I apologize. It's probably...
There you go. Very good. Thank you. I'll keep this one.
Thank you. My appearance is Kathleen Mahoney, 7 Bayview Avenue, Northport, New York, on behalf of Competition Motors.
Do you have power of attorney, or are you an officer in the company?
No, I am not. I have an...
Letter of authorization.
Okay,
Letter of
okay, fine,
authorization.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
1 second, did you get her name, Rick?
Yeah, just get closer to the microphone.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay. We're asking for a variance of the signage rules, increasing it for 3 additional signs. And the reason that that's necessary is the property borders on Middle Country Road and sorry. And then, I apologize, the next road, so it has frontage on 2 streets. So they're required to have a Subaru sign on both sides of the street, and then a sign directing customers to the customer service area. There are no residential adjacent districts. The current site and all adjacent sites are fully developed commercial properties, also car dealerships. And the Subaru Corporation requires that these additional signs are necessary in order to approve the new dealership. The signs are actually small in comparison to the size of the building. The building has street frontage of 343 feet and 460 feet for a total of over 800 feet. And the 2 additional wall signs are 20 square feet and 72 square feet. So in proportion, they're not very large compared to the size of the building. As I stated, 2 of the signs will be for the service area, and that's to direct customers easily to the right section of the building. And the other sign is for an additional Subaru sign, directing customers to the lot itself.
And the third sign reads Express?
Yes, Service Express.
Service Express, okay. So you have competition is one sign.
Subaru, mm-hmm.
Express is the other, and then service is the third.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm looking for the actual. Do you need to see on the actual plan, site plan?
Right, that's
where-
what-
You have it there,
Yes.
yes. Yes, so that's the request for the additional 3 signs. Oh, you have the photos of the building itself, where the signs
Yes,
will go? Yes.
we have enough here.
Okay.
Is that the end of your presentation, or would you like to add anything else?
Unless you have any questions?
Okay, I will ask. Anyone on the board have any questions on the application? No. Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard in this application? You have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is number 17998, Tara Boyer, 35 Lawrence Drive, Nesconset. The location of the property, the east side of Lawrence Drive, 87 feet south of Knollcrest Road. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum front yard from 45 feet to 41 feet for an existing 171 square foot front porch.
Good evening. My name is Tara Baroyer. I reside at 35 Lawrence Drive, Nesconset, New York, 11767.
Thank you.
I'm here to apply for a variance for an existing porch that we've begun. The corner of where we are, the property line that they're asking us to remove, it's about 4 feet from the end of our house in, and we have a bay window right there. And if we were to remove that piece visually, it wouldn't look right unless we went to the end of the house. We've asked our neighbors we have 2 neighbors and we're on a corner house, so we have 2 neighbors that are in front. They're very pleased and very happy that we're fixing the house up and making the house look nicer. The actual corner of the porch that we're being asked to remove, there's really no neighbor there. It's kind of on the corner piece of property, so I don't think there's anybody, that it would bother or upset.
It's only on one corner.
Yeah, the 41 feet is only in one corner.
1/4. I think when we measured, there was like 2 pieces from the corner and that needed to come in from the property line, so it was, I forgot, I may be off on the, yeah.
It's just the one corner.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone on the board have any questions?
No questions.
No. Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone, excuse me, anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? You have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next case on the agenda is number 17999, Kathy O'Brien, 43 William Street, Smithtown. The location of the property is the northeast corner of Rhoda Avenue and William Street. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard on William Street from 25 to 22 feet for an existing 105-square-foot front deck, reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 8 feet for an existing 100-square-foot detached garage addition, reduce the minimum rear yard from 35 feet to 25 feet for a 308-square-foot existing sunroom.
May I just ask you if I can show you these? These are from my neighbors.
Sure.
I'm on a corner, and this is the two neighbors that are behind, one neighbor behind and on the side.
Okay.
They notarize that everything is okay.
We'll take them.
You will,
We take them.
thank you.
We take them, thank you. Yeah, that's fine.
Good evening.
Good evening. Kathy O'Brien, 43 William Street, Smithtown, 11787. So I am here to apply for a variance on a front deck, a den, and a structure which exists in front of my garage. And I believe, hopefully, you have the dimensions or the footage that...
Yes.
Okay. So I need the variances in order to sell my home, and I'm working with Apple Expediting at the moment. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
All right. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No question.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard in this application? Come on up, please.
My name is Susan.
One second. Could you state your names?
My name is
State your name, spell your last name, and give the address for the record, please.
My name is Susan Hartigan, Hartigan, and the address in question is 43 William Street in Smithtown. And I'm Kathy O'Brien's real estate agent, and I just wanted to remind her that she said she did go to her adjoining neighbors and asked them if there was any objection to the existing 308 sunroom, and they both gave her a notarized note that they both approve of it.
Right,
They
we
don't-
have that.
They don't have a problem. I just didn't need to say it.
Okay?
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay?
That's okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Lost my page. Okay. The next case on the agenda is case number 18000, George and Celia Martella, 28 Radburn Drive, Comac. The location of the property, the north side of Radburn Drive, 232 feet west of Roxbury Drive. The property is zoned R43. The applicant is requesting a special exception for temporary living quarters and variances to reduce the minimum front yard, the minimum side yard from 27 feet to 7 feet and total side yards from 34 feet to 14 feet for a proposed 917-square-foot first-floor addition and roof-over porch. Reduce the minimum front yard from 50 feet to 44 feet for a proposed 424-square-foot covered porch. Reduce the rear yard from 100 feet to 99 feet for a proposed 917-square-foot first-floor addition.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I've submitted the affidavits of posting and mailing to Mr. Donadio. As this board knows, this is a special exception for temporary living quarters, commonly known as a mother-daughter. We're asking for a special exception permit to do that. I don't know if the chairman wants me to go through the special criteria.
It's unnecessary.
Okay. The board also has in its possession a recommendation from the Planning Department, as is the policy and the requirement of the ordinance. The Planning Department is making a recommendation to you, the board, and as you can see, every application and request that we made tonight, the Planning Department recommends approval. They do comment that it looks like a severe variance from 16 to 7, but even the Planning Department, when looking at it, said that's just for the porch. The setback other than that is really 13 feet for the addition. The parents, the owners of the property, are snowbirds. They will be occupying the premises during the summer months, along with their son, Mr. Martella, who's here tonight. In the winter, they'll be in Florida. But it is certainly a temporary living quarters for a parent or a child, and we ask the board for its favorable consideration. We understand we have to file a covenant, and also that it will be reviewed every 3 years by the building department. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions on the application?
No question.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard of this application? Yeah. Come on up, please. Could you state your name, spell your last name, give the address for the record, please?
Sure. Jacqueline Carlamagno, Carlomagno, and I reside at 26 Radburn Drive, Comac, New York, 11725. So I'm on the neighbor on the other side where they're looking to put it to 7 feet, and I was wondering if there's going to be a privacy fence or something to give me some privacy, because my living room, my dining room is near that area, and that's pretty much it. And just, if it's temporary, what happens when the parents are no longer being snowbirds?
It has to be converted back.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll get you an answer
Okay, thank you.
on the screening. Okay. Is there anyone else like to be heard? No?
I do have a question for Mr. Tramarko. Mr. Tramarko, I have a question for you.
Oh.
I see there are 2 front doors. Do you need a variance anymore for that?
No.
No, we're okay with that? Okay.
In answer to the lady's question, my client will be putting up a fence that's permitted under the town ordinance along that side.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion? Excuse me, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is number 17957, Raphael Pataka, 7 Ridgely Road, Smithtown. The location of the property, the west side of Ridgely Road, 85 feet south of Gilbert Avenue. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting variances to increase the square footage of a proposed detached garage from 750 square feet to 896 square feet, to increase the maximum height from 15 feet to 18 feet, to permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered where depth to groundwater is equal to or less than 10 feet.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Raphael Pataka. I reside on 7 Ridgely Road. I'm here applying for a variance for a detached garage that I'm hoping to build in the back northwest corner of my property. The garage would be 28 by 32 with a height of 18 feet, 8 foot off property lines. The construction will be slab on grade, so it would have no negative impact on the environment, as well as it will be 200 feet from the road, so have no impact no negative impact towards the neighborhood, and there are multiple detached garages throughout the neighborhood, including my own block. I believe there's 3. The reason why I'm requesting these dimensions is I have several classic cars that I need to secure in a secured facility. And as of right now, they're on my driveway, which is against classic car insurance policy. I also, what else? 8 foot from property line. And I'm not a mechanic by trade. I do this as a hobby. It is not a secondary employment either. I do not work on other vehicles. There would be no commercial activity whatsoever on my property.
All right, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No question.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Come on up, please. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Tuminello. I reside at 24 Gilbert Avenue. My last name is spelled Tummminello. My concern here with this detached garage, my house is approximately 22 feet from the property line. I also have an in-ground pool, which is approximately 15 feet from the property line. The area does have challenges in the past and current with a high water table, which I would have concerns of building of this structure close to my property. I also have a challenge with the size of a garage being built that high and that close to my property. It would definitely serve as a negative impact, as well as a facade blocking sunlight, and also close to my kitchen, which is even closer to that mark of the garage.
Your property is on the south corner.
I would, it's north. I have a picture of where my house props up to the property. If you want to look at that.
I'm sorry, what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Tuminello. So his is, where he wants to put it is the northwest corner.
Yeah.
So my house, my property backs up right against to where it's going to be.
On the plan that I have, that I'm looking at, the garage is going in the north.
No, I'm talking about where you want.
Wait, excuse me, you just addressed me in the
Sorry.
northwest corner.
Okay.
You're at the other end of his property.
I am on the back, right behind, at the end of the property.
Come here. This is where he's putting it. This is you down here.
No, this is incorrect.
It's incorrect.
I'm right here.
Oh, you're over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so on that, I'm right behind it.
Right behind you. Okay. Thank you.
So I don't know if you need a copy of the layout or not, but
No, well, it indicates 20,
24.
yeah, 24 feet, so.
Yeah.
All right.
I am not opposed, however, if he wanted to move and build a structure closer to his home, I wouldn't object to that. Bringing it closer to his house where his driveway is, adjacent to it, I wouldn't object to that, but so close to my home
Sure.
and so close to the pool, that I do have a challenge with. But if he wants to build a structure of that size closer to his house, I am all with it. I'm not objecting that, but I'm 8 feet off the property line, and my house is 21 feet from my property line. In the kitchen, my bedroom's right above that. I do have a challenge with that. But if he wants to build it closer to his house, I'm all for it.
Okay.
Protect his vehicles, absolutely.
All right, thank you very much.
Just want to mention, due to town rules, it is 8 foot off property line. Also, there are going to be no windows towards the gentleman's house for privacy. And there's several shrubs that are growing, I believe they're 13, 14 feet high as well. And all the property is flat, so there's no, I'm not sure about the runoff, what you stated about rainwater and stuff like that. The whole property is flat.
Is there any way you can move it up towards your house?
Unfortunately, there's no room further up. And I can't go on the other side because the driveway. It's going to take a large, I'd rather have in the corner because I have more grass, more property in my area. I have a little over a half acre. I'd rather have in the corner.
Yeah, but it seems to me that there's a long driveway, so what's
Correct.
preventing you from putting it up closer to your house?
Because what am I going to do behind it then?
What's that?
What am I going to do behind the garage? It's just wasted property. I'd
Give
rather
your
have an
neighbor a
open
nice
field.
buffer?
Buffer of what?
So he's not on top of so his house isn't 20 feet from your back of your garage? So why don't you have it 20 feet from your house rather than 20 feet from his house?
Because I'd rather have it, that's what I just prefer. I prefer having the corner. I thought
Right.
8 foot would be proper. The neighbor on the right side, Mr. Griffin, has no issue whatsoever. So I didn't think there was an issue at all.
All right.
All right, enough said.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
The next case on the agenda is number 17965, Jennifer Rubino, 257 4th Street, St. James, the location of the property, the north side of 4th Street, 108 feet east of 7th Avenue. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the rear yard from 25% to 40%, and in the side yard from 25% to 35%, to permit an accessory structure, a shed, in the required side yard, reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 2 feet, and total side yards from 28 feet to 22 feet for an existing 124-square-foot shed.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is John Weiss, W-E-I-S. I'm from JW Consulting. I'm here.
1 second, sir.
Yes, I just turned it in.
Is it okay, Martin, the panel? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No problem. We're here today for an existing situation where the rear yard has blocks down as far as what they call them, pavers, and an existing shed. The location has no harmful effect on any of the neighbors, has not caused any adverse or detrimental effects on anybody's property. The situation, this is not a self-imposed hardship. I gave you a survey that was given to the property when it was sold. And if you look at the survey, it will demonstrate that the rear yard is 43 feet. If you look at the survey submitted with the application for tonight, you'll see it's only 33 feet. We have lost 900 and some odd square feet of rear yard. The house was shown to be a distance from the front yard, and we lose 10 feet there. Needless to say, it's a fraudulent survey. The original survey that was used to obtain a CO from the town of Smithtown, where the minimum rear yard was 35 feet, is only 33 feet. And the CO was given to the town of Smithtown, and they accept the survey. The survey, the old survey, is also a survey that was certified by the title company. Title company certified it as being an accurate representation of the property. And as you can see, it does not match the current survey for the property. We had no other way of doing anything at this particular point. We can't rip up everything without being a financial hardship to the to the applicant. The shed was moved to that current location based upon the fact that we lost the 10 feet of the rear yard, and we had to take it out of the rear yard, and the only place to put it was in the side yard. Any questions?
Yes. I understand the old survey. You presented us the new survey.
The new survey...
One second.
Sure.
You also presented this colored drawing here. Now, the survey in the upper northeast corner indicates a pond.
The pond is being removed.
On here, it looks like a pool.
Okay. There's a pond shown on the survey. That pond is being removed. It also goes onto the neighbor's property. That pond is will no longer be there. The pool is a proposed pool which will be going in. A building permit has been taken out for it, but that swimming pool has not been installed as of yet, as everybody is.
Okay.
Also, so that if you notice on the proposed, which is that colorful little thing there, we go down from a 40% occupancy to 28% occupancy.
That fence, who does that fence belong to? Looks like it's partly on your property, probably on other people's property?
The fence in the back is ours.
Yes.
The fence to the east is the neighbor's, and the fence to the west is ours, right? Or it's the north-south street, so therefore it's the south side. Let me look at the survey, easier. East side is the neighbor's, west side is ours, north side is ours.
Is it on your property?
The fence on the west side is not on our property, and we will have to move that automatically because of the title conditions.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I actually have a question. Mr. Weiss, the prior survey you referred to before, did you characterize that survey as fraudulent?
Yes, sir. If you take a look at it, you'll see the fact that it demonstrates that the rear yard is 43 feet, 0.3, while it's actually 33 feet, 0.3.
Okay, well then, do you mean that it was just, it contains an error? Or do you mean there was something there that someone fraudulently created that survey?
The surveyors left the country after the lawsuit started, so I really don't know beyond that.
Okay, thank you.
I would gladly retract the word fraudulent and just say,
No, I just wanted to clarify, that's
Yeah.
all. We don't hear that very often here.
when you look at the survey, the problem is that this house is proposed to be a 25-foot front yard with a 50-foot rear yard. Property is zone R10 with a filed map prior to 1950. So therefore, he was entitled to a 25-foot with a 35-foot rear, but it would have been 25/50 at the end. Somehow or other, came one big cluster mess. And closing had to come, I guess, and the seller, the contractor, just did what he did.
All right.
Okay.
Planning?
No.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard of this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? If I sit down and wait, about how long before you come back out?
We have to go through every single case again.
Thank you.
And that concludes the hearing for tonight.